What is up, brothers and sisters? Can all hear. Bulls on Wall Street. My friends, what can we say, man? Today was the day for the Bears to take control. We had the perfect opportunity for the people with itchy trigger fingers to sell off the market. We had a gap down on this credit news, which, this all the way, this credit news we've had a few times over, the last handful of years. But we had the gap down, and dude, it was, you filled the gap without even a pullback. So, not much really else to say about that. That's about as bullish of action as you can see. Filling the gap is one thing, but usually there's some fits and starts. It was basically just opening tick. We took out the range, and it was, the NQ ran into VWAP. He ran into all sorts of resistance here, previous day's lows, all sorts of little supply spots, mini supply, and just ripped right through them like it was nothing. We had basically one pullback opportunity over here into the bone zone, and then, a decent pop there. And that was it. Then, most of the day was here in this grind and here in this grind too. So, action. What can you say? Action Jackson. It's bullish. We're right at, back at the kind of couple day consolidation here. We are very overbought at a 95 stochastic. Doesn't mean necessarily anything. You can stay overbought for long periods of time. But we definitely could use a nice little pullback in the Qs here. You're 20 points from all-time highs. But the action is the action, and it is bullish. And basically we got, bullish engulfing candles here. But if you just see the ascent of this, like a shakeout would just be so nice, right? Like somewhere into this zone would be fantastic. So, let's dig into the watch list. I think there's two aspects of it. If you're swing trading, you lighten up just a tad or tighten up your stops, but you want to still be pressing it. You want to still be pressing when you see premium setups. And, there will be just a day where you just get fucking stopped out of a bunch of shit with huge profits, right? But you got to kind of, when you get these extreme greed situations, you want to, right, just add that little bit of mustard on it when you can, with the knowledge that it's all going to get rugged at some point for a few days, and you're going to get stopped out, of some positions where you give back profit, and you may have initiated some new ones, and you're going to give back get stopped out of those, that's just the way it works, right? But you don't want to miss it where you're just waiting, and then, right, you're fucking trying to buy at all-time highs into the resistance, right? So there's two aspects of it. You want to tighten up your current positions. If you're initiating new ones, tighten up those stop losses a lot. And if you're day trading, then it's just all systems go. Get aggressive, get funky, get smelly, do all that kind of stuff. Hey, we're overbought. We can stay overbought. What are you going to do, right? But we're in it, man. We went from extreme fear to extreme greed in a handful of days. If you look at market breadth, the T2108 is at 67. We hit a multi-year low, basically, which is, the throw the baby out of the bathwater scenario to buy stocks. And now you're getting almost, anything over 80 is like an extreme overbought. So this is one of the faster, extreme oversolds to possibly getting to extreme overbought in a while. You went from 10% of stocks above the 200-day moving average to 40. This still could use a lot of work, right? Hot market, you could get in the 60s, 70s. So we do got some room still. And, obviously probably your people are positioned in just a nasty way. But, that is not that many breakouts today versus breakdowns. It was a flat day in the market. But the reversal was awesome. The bulls are in control. You can just see opening tick. That's all you can ask for, right? So let's get into the watch list here and see what we can do. And, dude, we'll get out here and do the Lord's work and make some moves. There it goes. So, look, this Oclo's got a $40 breakout here. 4-day long flag here. A week open on this one and a takeout. I think that's going to be a hot little day trade. Groupon, this is a swing setup. If you take out this 27, kind of pivot, you put a stop under the 9. This RGTI, it's sloppy, but it's kind of right there. You're kind of building into it. The rest of the sector is looking pretty good. I'm watching this ODD for a swing. This was an earnings breakout, and you've got this gap fill here. You got to trigger like 65.20 if it starts to fill in. Spot triggered today, but I think this one, I don't like buying on day 4 of a move. So I think there's 2 aspects. If you're a breakout buyer, you want to try to buy breakouts, but it's got to be day 1, day 2. Otherwise, you got to get it on the support and then kind of, right, and be in early and do a little anticipation. Like, guys, you don't always have to just draw lines across, right? You can kind of hit them on the pulls too. There's some good spots over there. I think this crowd could be, a little bit of a ripper. Your earnings are not still for a few more weeks, and you got a 450 breakout on this. I think the options on this are a little bit, they're a little bit illiquid, but I'd keep an eye and see, like, you could maybe do the 450s, next week out. You can see the rest of these are just illiquid. It'd take me fucking 2 hours to get filled on something like this, but if you keep an eye and see if anything starts to fire, right? Keep some alerts. If you start to see like 1,000 contracts go, on one of these strikes, then, you could come in the options. Otherwise, you're going to have to do the shares. There's nothing wrong with the little shares life. It moves pretty fast, when it starts to go. It's got 17.8 TR, so pretty good. RKLB, we're still in this for a swing. I believe I've got the June 6 contracts. I believe the June 6 contracts are the 25 or the May. Wait, let me look here. I got the May 30s. That's a buenos, man. That thing is looking zesty here. That thing is looking zesty, dude. We can get this fucking thing going. You know what I mean? Love the look of this bad boy. So let's keep an eye on this. Frankly, I wouldn't mind finding. I should have added more today on the dip. I didn't think, honestly, I've been trading a long time. I didn't think the market was going to go red to green in one, swoosh. I thought there's a chance that the bulls step in. In our pre-market show, we were talking about, I think the bulls will step in at the open just because it's the first time we've had a dip in a while. But then, we fill the gap and then maybe fade back off and close red and finally have a little bit of a rest day. But, hey, didn't fucking happen. What are you going to do? This NBIS, you can forget it. It's too extended. I was swinging this one, then I sold it because of the earnings, but it looks like, I don't know if they just did not come out. It's whatever, but I'm looking to re-enter on this one. NVIDIA's got a little bit of a flag. If you're a day trader, I would just keep an alert at 136.25. You got a kind of multi-day base here. If you're a swing trader, I wouldn't touch this till it pulls back. TTD after the earnings push, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, just orderly, kind of an orderly pullback. You can see here, you're kind of just, building a little trend line love. If it rips through there, I'm looking at it. The lift, I think, you can go like almost a month out and get the 19 calls for like 20 cents, something like that. You can go even like a couple weeks from now, and I think if you go because lift is like, it just moves $1 a day, so it's easier to do the options on it, I think. You could go next week, the 17s are 40 cents, right? That's not so bad. Right? If you go the week after, 57 cents, so buy you a little time too, and you could probably rip this thing for a few points. Looks pretty good, man. This is an earnings push, and then, right, you got this nice kind of doohickey off of it. See this bumble? Right? Also, similar setup to TTD and lift. Hey, I got Lunar, but I don't think you can swing this because you would, the stop loss would have to be too loose. But I have a 1275 trigger on this for potential day trades. I think it's setting up here. It may just need to have this 9 EMA kind of tighten up into this, and then, to start to, bust a little bit loose. Go, still watching this bad boy. It's just letting its EMAs catch up. It just needs that kind of like little doohickey right there. And then, Palantir, I got some calls on this one. I think the June 6th. And, it's just having a pretty orderly, like, kind of pullback into the breakout spot. I anticipate in the next, 1 or 2 days that this thing rips, does a little rip stick, too. This Cadell's a dog, and so is SMCI. Hims, I've also been stalking here. You got an inside day today. Very narrow range day, if you look here. This, to me, is, pretty bullish. Now, this company's probably a turd, but who cares, right? You got just such a narrow range on this. It's got a chance on this bad boy. QUBT also had a very narrow range day. So after the earnings, just a tiny little range. I mean, if you really look, it moves like 30, 40 cents basically the whole day. Like, it was down 8%, but once it opened, it just sat around. So that's pretty bullish. If you small cap lovers, it's a $1 billion company, but this thing, I've been eyeballing this one, and I got two of these that, in my swing account that I think got some potential here. TMC, I believe these are like a rare earths metal, but like they do if I remember correctly, it's like they like mine them from the ocean floor and they suck them off with like a vacuum. Suck them off. That just sounds dirty, right? But you know what I mean. So that's it for now, guys. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. I love you guys. Peace.